You're listening to The Starting Block on TAVshow.com.
The following program is recommended for mature individuals and may contain material unsuitable for morons, cretins, and dishwipes. If you are a moron or a member of the PTL Club, please turn off your radio, because we don't need any more stupid, narrow-minded, pencil-neck geeks who wouldn't know the First Amendment if it came up and bit them on the butt. Thank you.
Okie dokie, roll 'em!
Nothing to rearrange. Sometimes you just get a feeling like you need some kind of change. No matter what.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. Big show as always. We got some car stuff. We got some story time. We got restaurant level cooking. A couple of other things. All that and much, much more here on the block. Greeno here from the Starting Block. On behalf of the block, we just wanted to let you all know that we're all in this together. Well, except if you have coronavirus, then stay the fuck away. But in every other situation, we're in it together. To all of you on the front lines, those of you turning a footstool, a wok, and a pitchfork into a home gym, those of you who have given your housemates a mental breakdown because you decided lockdown was a great time to learn the keyboard and the only thing you can play after 8 weeks is chopsticks over and over and over again. And those of you who are homeschooling and are now understanding the question you used to harass your maths teacher with of, when the fuck are we ever going to need to know this in the real world, is coming back to bite you on the ass. Just remember, like a 1990s Australian sitcom, we're all in this together. The days may be long, but in times like this, you can rest assured we will be here to waste an hour of your week, Friday nights Australian time, at dlive.tv/the Starting Block. So take care, social distance, whack on a mask, and subscribe to our show on iTunes. It may not cure coronavirus, but it sure will help us with our rankings. And isn't that really the most important thing right now?
Public Radio's loss is TAVshow.com's game. You're listening to The Starting Block.
Hey, welcome to the Starting Block for another week. You got myself, Greeno, joined by a man who's questioning whether the house hunt should just end, and he get himself a caravan. My co-captain Damon, what we serve.
Very good, Greeno. Good evening to you, boys, girls, listenership, blockheads, millions around the world. Didn't think of the caravan, actually, the option. I could start one of those YouTube channels, Greeno, like the van life channels, and do all that kind of thing. Cruise around from one place to the next, and just show up, live in parking lots and stuff. Be good for my daughter. Give her a show of the world, Yeah, that's right. No need to wear shoes, love. Just walk around, free love, man.
Oh well, in those caravan parks, probably safer to wear shoes.
Probably, yeah. There's a lot of needles and stuff in some of them. Depending,
needles, piss,
depending on which one you go
jizz,
to.
all of that. Nah.
Some caravan parks are quite nice, and you can spend a weekend there and be comfortable because they're not just caravans. They also have these little bungalows and
Cabins.
things like that.
Cabin's good. I don't mind a cabin.
Yeah.
I do have a general rule though. For the better part of the last decade,
Okay.
if I leave my house to stay somewhere,
Yes.
it needs to be better than the house I have.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
'Cause
Well, the
otherwise-
camping's out then.
No, that's why I don't camp. Fuck no. Why the fuck am I going to go stay in the elements when I got a nice warm bed at home? You know what I mean?
I can't believe
It's
it. This is
stupid.
one of the things. This is one of the things I never knew that we were in such heated agreement on, because I have also made that exact comment when I've been invited to go camping before, and it's like, would you like to come camping? And it's like, again, why the fuck would I go camping? It's absolutely not. It makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
That's
Become
crazy.
one with nature. I can do that and go back to my bed. Like, it's fine. Now I'll drive to nature and come back.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Yeah. Look, I can even have potted plants in my office, and it's like I'm bringing nature indoors. I'm civilizing it. You know what I mean?
Me and nature have an agreement.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm
you do
bringing it
you
under
thing,
control. Yeah.
and I'll stay in my nice warm bed, and we are good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have that general rule. It comes with like houses that I stay at as well. Like if the house I'm staying at is not equal or better than the house I have, why am I going to pay to stay there?
Yeah, right. What about a hotel room though? So it's like one room. It's a little kitchenette. It's not even a kitchen. It's just a place to make coffee.
Depends on the scenario, right? So if it's a
hang on, let me finish. So there's a little shower and ensuite, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there's a pokey little bath thing, but you don't really want to sit in it because you fear that you may not be able to get out of it if you do.
A lot of people have split their wrists in that thing over the years.
Yeah, you're banging your knees on everything in there. It's very uncomfortable and tight and messy. The bed is quite nice, but you of course imagine all the blue light stains that would appear should you do some kind of forensic analysis on the place, and how awful that would be, the thought of that. So you're contemplating all that. However, now this is the kicker. The square footage of that room in the location that it's in the city, it's probably worth more than either of our houses because it's overlooking, like, say, the the Harbour Bridge or something.
Yeah. Well, in that instance,
so would you stay in that hotel? Because
that is, we're talking different story, right? Because then you got a view to take into consideration.
All right.
So let's say that we're talking dollar value of property. I don't give a fuck about dollar value of property because it all depends.
Really.
It all comes down to scenario, right? Yeah. So if the room is a bit smaller, however, I've got a view of the ocean, that then puts it into a bucket of, hey, this is probably an upgrade scenario-wise of what I've got at home.
Right.
And it offers something in addition to what I can get in my house.
Interesting. Okay.
Whereas, let's say I'm staying in the city, but the view is of the hotel next door.
If you're staying above a crack, then, for example, in
yeah,
the city,
exactly.
Of which there are many. I must.
In that instance, then I'll give that a miss. Now there are scenarios where I have no choice but to.
It's almost impossible not to stay above a crack den in Sydney. Actually, if you want to be brutally honest, if you're staying in town,
To be fair,
there's a lot of crack dens in there.
So especially where I live at the moment, if I'm catching up with people in the city region, I have no choice but to stay in that area.
Yeah.
And in that instance, that's not a holiday. That is suddenly an accommodation scenario.
It's a work layover.
That's a work layover, which means cheap as humanly possible. I'll stay in the crack den.
Do they still have hotel F1s? Because they were the jam back in the day.
They were the
when
best.
we were in our late teens, that's the place that you would book because it was like $60 a night.
Yeah.
So do they still exist, or?
I think they do. They exist in certain areas, and normally areas you don't want to stay at. There was one in Liverpool.
Airports.
For quite a while. Airport.
Next to the airport.
The airport is there. Now, I'm a big fan of the F1s. I've searched for them high and low in the city. They don't exist in the city. Quick story time about F1 Hotel, right?
No. I like stories about pinatas.
So back when I was 18, 19, I think I was 19. Yeah, I think I was 19. Nah, 18.
It's close enough.
Either
Let's roll with it.
Close enough. I was around about there, 18, 19. So anyway, got invited to a mate's Bucks party, but he lived in the Central Coast. Okay. So he's like, all right, come on down, man, spend the weekend. And then like Bucks party's on the Saturday night, you can drive back Sunday. I'm like, sweet, sounds good. He goes, look, we've already sorted accommodation. We've got like a Formula One hotel. I'm like, all right, cool. You've already booked rooms for everyone. This is fucking, that's fine. Like I was only on like $10 an hour, I guess, at that stage. So that $50 count me. He's like, nah, we're all good. We're all chipping in. It's going to be cheap ass. Sounds good. I rock up and the only person I knew was the buck and none of his mates. So I rock up and I get there and they're like, yeah, here's the room. and it was like 6 guys all sleeping in bunk beds inside a Formula One hotel.
Oh my God. How did they get bunk beds in there? Was that a room option?
That was one of the room. You could get 6 bunk beds for like fucking, $100. So that was the cheapest option. But so I'm looking at that.
That's like how they stacked them in the bottom of the Titanic, Greeno.
Exactly.
That's how they stack them in slave ships.
Exactly.
Fucking hell. 6 in one of those tiny little F1 rooms.
I was under the assumption I had my own room in this scenario.
Ironically, if you were being imprisoned there during the COVID, it actually would have been a human rights violation to have that many people in such a small space, Greeno, but you're doing it voluntarily.
Yeah. So I rock up, I go in there, and I'm single at the time. So I know I'm at this Bucks party chasing chicks.
Yeah.
I'm like, well,
hang on. Whoa. You need to interrupt the story there.
I like stories about pinatas.
Now, look, this may be, I admit, this is a universe that's quite foreign to me, but do you really have much success chasing chicks on a Bucks night? Because wouldn't they be all repulsed? Or aren't you only at strip clubs anyway? Like the women that are there are only paid to be so, aren't they? Like you're not.
No. This was
in the
Central
randoms
Coast.
On a Bucks.
There's no strip clubs in Central Coast, so we were just dinner.
There's no strip clubs on the Central Coast.
I went to a club.
Hard to believe.
And that was if there were, we weren't at them. So
maybe you wouldn't want to go to the strip clubs on the Central Coast either. Exactly. Maybe that might have been a consideration.
That's another consideration.
Hey guys, this isn't the Cross, all right? We've got a certain level here.
My boys, what have we got here? And they're like, this is the scenario. I don't have my own room. They're like, nah, that's all we got. I'm like, well, I can't have this situation.
Yeah.
So I ducked up the road, went to a different place,
right?
Grabbed myself a different room.
Okay.
Cost me about 80, but I'm like, well, in the scenario that I pick up, at least I've got somewhere to go back to.
Yeah.
And we were all good.
Did you pick up, by the way?
I did. Yeah. So it was a scenario where I'm like, this is fucking worth the $80.
It played out. Yeah. Well done.
I was like the exact scenario I had in my head of coming here. Because suddenly I was like a Sydney dude. So the Central Coast chicks were all over me. They thought that was cool.
Got money. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
little did they know, they were hooking up with the tightest man who's ever lived. Wow, he's from Sydney. He's up here for a bucks too. He must be rolling in it.
Said he
got his own hotel room while the rest of them slept in one. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, not that tight. Not tight enough to share a hotel room with six.
Wow, he spent $80 on a room. Fuck.
Said, check out these free coffee satchels, ladies.
Interesting, Greeno. I just got this through on the fax machine. Not many people use the fax machine anymore, but one person only that I'm aware of who used to send faxes through to this show once a week for about 7 or 8 years. Greeno Scotty from the Central Coast has joined us on the fax machine.
Nice,
And he's faxed through a long overdue Central Coast report. Greeno, I've got it here in my hot little hands. Here.
Little hand? What's to say? What's Scotty got to say there?
Yeah. Nothing going on.
I'm going to see nothing change here in Central Coast.
Nice, Gary.
Nice, Gary.
Nothing going on.
Another quick story time if I can, sir.
Please.
I like stories about pinatas.
So last time we did the show a couple of weeks back, I was telling the story of a car hunt where old mate was
unfortunate, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So old mate was trying to upsell me, I need more power. And then
this was the Volvo guy, wasn't it?
No, this was a Haval guy.
Haval, that's right. And the one that all the mechanics that you spoke to on the sly said, don't fucking touch it with somebody else's car keys, mate.
Exactly.
Fucking don't go anywhere near it.
Stay away from it. It's a death trap.
It's a death trap.
So
it's a rolling suicide machine.
That was a couple of weeks back. So we've dipped into because I refuse to get
loans.
I
like a dip. This is good.
Yeah. I refuse to get loans for cars because I feel like I pay enough interest on my house.
So you're gonna buy a car outright.
Outright, I buy them outright. I pay cash. Okay. The wog in me has to pay
fucking wogging you, all right?
We take the cash. We
surprised you don't offer to recommend a cousin to do his plumbing for him to get another 200 knocked off.
We'll see what we can do.
My nonna makes the best fucking biscuits you've ever had in your life. I'll bring them down.
I'll bring in some cannolis. We're good. I had to dip into the emergency money a little bit to pay for the car. So it's like, look, time to.
Is it an emergency? I have two questions. One, is it an emergency? And two, did you use all of the emergency budget, or did you just kind of shave a little bit off?
All right, so answer to question number 1. Yes, it was an emergency because the car literally was
Died,
fucking about,
yeah.
was dead.
It's going to die on a
And-
railroad crossing. As far as
Yeah,
I remember.
Well,
Yeah.
the accelerator didn't work
That's
properly.
right. Yeah,
And I'm like,
that's a problem. Yeah.
that was a hazard going through a roundabout, not being able to
Yes.
accelerate.
Yeah.
So we had to replace that. Question number 2, we shaved into the.
Okay. No, that's okay because I think even without the death defiance of the previous car, even if you wanted to make like an impulse buy and get a car, you could say, well, it's a 9% of an emergency. If depending on what amount you shaved off the emergency budget in order to purchase the thing,
I shaved off 20%.
you can make an argument that it's a 20% emergency.
Yeah.
You know, like, hey, we may not have died, tomorrow or the next day, but we probably would have died a month from now.
Yeah,
So
exactly. So
it's
best to
20%
shave off
emergency.
20,
Yeah.
which is fine. I had no qualms. They were like, sweet, we replaced the car, all good. And at that
Yes.
point, I had a conversation with my wife going, look, our spending this year has been a bit ridiculous. Like, we spent a lot of money on a lot of different things. So
Well,
it's
you
like,
got the lights out the back now. You know,
yeah, the lumens, man. I got
You've had the
fucking 400
handyman
candles.
through the place like multiple
Handyman.
times.
Handyman come through. I had the I say about
Had
the
a lot of
slab
work
lifting.
done. Yeah.
Had the slab lifted. That was good.
Yeah.
That
You've
was
done the
20K.
house equivalent of, married the girl who was a little bit past her prime, but bolted a new set of tits on her, gave her some lip injections, and sent her on her way.
100%. That's what I've been
Love
doing
it.
this shit. But I said to him, like, look, we've now dipped into the
Gave
emergency
her a
money.
new lease of life, Greeno.
We spent our play money. We're now in emergency money time for the next like six months. It's
Yeah.
time to fucking buckle down.
True.
All right,
Yeah.
we're fucking.
Yeah.
This is buckle down time. Back into the
Honeymoon's
year.
over. We've enjoyed the new things.
We've had a good 6 months,
Yeah.
and now it's time to buckle down.
Yeah.
A week after that happened,
Yeah.
I took the car for a drive, the other car,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "What the fuck's going on with the car?" And the wife's like, "Yeah, it's been doing that for like 6 months." And I'm like, "It feels like the transmission's fucked again." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "This feels like because the transmission broke on it a year ago. We got it repaired under warranty."
Okay.
And I'm like, "It feels like the same thing that's happening. Like, is it just me?" She's like, "Yeah, no,
Was it
weird."
like clunky and stuff? Is that what
Yeah,
you're describing?
like-
Yeah.
It was like just fucking. It was like it was like the car was Michael J. Fox. It was fucking spasming.
That's
shaking
often like
everywhere.
something like a seal or something that's gone. So
Well, it was the exact same feeling I had when the transmission broke the first time.
yeah.
And I'm like, well, let's fucking get this car in for a check.
Yeah.
Because like I have a bad feeling the transmission's rooted. Now that was the
When
weekend
they
I
start
had
clunking like that, and the gear
Yeah.
changes must have been rough. Like it would throw you around in the seat a little bit, and gear changes and stuff do things
Well, it
like
just
that.
fucking it didn't know what gear it was in.
Yeah,
like I'd be in fourth, and it'd suddenly go. I'm going to go back
Yeah.
to second for a minute. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on here?
Something's
Um,
it all equals something's very broken.
Something was awry.
Yeah.
So at that point, I'm like, look, here's what we'll do. We'll go put in for a checkup. Surely it can't be the transmission. We got the whole thing redone. Like a year ago.
Surely, I mean the service, the quality that we paid for. There's no
We
fucking
don't-
way it could
We're
be
not
that.
fucking 17-year-olds anymore. Like we
Never.
drive the car very conservatively. We get it
Yes.
serviced regularly. We take care of it. It's all good. So, but then I had to do a drive. I was helping the sister-in-law move house a couple of weeks back.
That's right.
So I had to drive like fucking 4 hours that day in this car.
And that's more than you drive ever because
That's
you
more than I've driven this year.
work from home 100%. You do you ever drive more than like say 10 minutes in any direction? Really?
No, never.
Fucking
The
nice, Gary.
longest I drive is in my shopping center to get groceries, and that's like 8 minutes away.
8 minutes.
And then
Fucking hell.
occasionally, if I go play baseball somewhere,
Hmm.
20 minutes.
So you only play the home games then at baseball?
Yeah,
really?
yeah. They go, you're going to Nara. Nah, man, fuck that. I'm
Fuck
not going
an
to
hour.
Nara.
No, that's way too far.
Stay away, too far. It's outside my 20-minute range here. A tank of petrol lasts me like 3 months.
Yeah.
If it's just me driving the car, 3 months. Like I fill up the car 4 times a year.
They must look at the calendar and go, I guess Greeno's going to be rotated that weekend.
Yeah.
He's not leaving the 20 minutes outside the 20-minute bubble, boys.
Outside 20 minutes, mate.
Yeah,
Too
we'll have to
dark.
manage him to the end of the season then, I guess.
So I'm driving like this thing all the way down, further down the south coast, and I've got like fucking my sister-in-law shit in the back of the car,
Bouncing
and it's
around. Did you
fucking
strap it down? Did you
bouncing.
do all the regular appropriate?
No, it's all done right.
Okay.
But this car's fucking jolting, bumping, blah, 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 blah. And
Because the tradi's fucked.
Yeah, so the car's booked in on the
Fucking
Tuesday,
hilarious.
right?
Yeah.
The car's booked in on the Tuesday. I've walked in the door Saturday afternoon after driving this fucker all day, moving the house, having a jumping, jolting, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I walked into the wife and I'm like, can you pick the car I'm buying tomorrow? She can talk about it. And I'm like, we're going car shopping again tomorrow. I'm like, that car, I don't care what they tell me. That car is fucked. I know it's a transmission. I don't need a mechanic to tell me that car's screwed.
It gave you a good service, that car. How long had you had it? It was over 10 years, wasn't it?
Had that for a decade, yeah.
Yeah.
But transmission blew twice, so that's no good.
What was that? Was it like $1,000 to replace or something?
10,000 to replace it.
10,000 to replace. God.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, the transmission's fucked. That's what the car's only worth 8 now. So fuck that. Get rid of the car. So get home, check, go have a look, see what you like. See, we're going to buy another car. I'm like, we've got no choice. Someone like, I might need to get a loan, I need to work out. And then we're like doing budget, going, look, maybe we just get like a super cheap thing because we'd planned to replace this car in a couple of years. So like, how about we just spend like $5,000? And just get something that'll last us 2 years. Who gives a fuck?
I say that every single time, and every single time I get the fucking like the shock horror look, and it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? I'm like, who gives a fuck? It's a car. It doesn't have to be just get the fucking cheapest thing that's got fucking fuel in it. And if it's got 6 months of rego, all right, that'll do. $500. I get you a car right now for $500. I could walk down. Honestly, I could walk down this street and sing out the top of my lungs, anyone got a car for $500? And they'll come fucking running out of their house, Greeno, waving the keys at me. Here, take it. 6 months rego. That'll do.
Yeah, that'll do. That's fine. So we're looking at that. I'm like, look, maybe we just do this because, it gives us a bit of leeway to save up for the next couple of years to get like buy it again. And then we don't have to touch the emergency money. Like we got $5,000 to play with. That's fine. Just fucking, we'll just get that. So, all right, then we're looking at the $5,000. I'm like, nothing's gone there, nothing's there. So I'm just upping the budget a little bit. What about this one? I'm like, maximum 15. Can't spend more than 15.
Were you tempted to just get something like a V8 and just say that it's a family car, like something a bit, daddish or a bit, blokey?
Nah, this is the smaller car. So we bought the family car with the first replacement.
Yeah.
This one's kind of like, hey, this is just the zoom around car.
Okay.
Doesn't need to be big, just needs to be able to get around, needs to be cheap. In the end, I was like, oh look, we
get
were
a
looking
smart
at
car, Greeno, one of those little things that's like half a car. Have you seen them?
I've seen those, they're terrible.
They're terrible.
I don't want to be embarrassed driving my car.
Well, that's good zipping around though, What about a motorbike, Greeno?
We need the kiddos, mate. I can't fucking strap the kiddos on.
You could get a sidecar. You can take one at a time.
Yeah, one at a time.
You just ferry them, Greeno. So you
Like a
take the
circus
oldest
family.
one first and drop her off, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you pick up, so what you do, it's, that problem where it's the fox and the hen going across the river. So what you do is you take the oldest one, you drop them off, and then you take the guy who's wearing a trench coat and bring him back. Okay.
Yeah.
Then you pick up your kid and then take them back. And then, I guess you just leave the creepy guy, on this shore. That doesn't really work, does it? No. So, you figure it out. Anyway, get a sidecar. You'll be a cool dad. Don't you think you'll be a cool dad? And you could wear one of those old leather pilots, goggles,
things, Yeah, with the goggles.
with a little helmet, the little leather
right.
helmet there. Yeah, fuck yeah. And your Penny Hardaway shirt, Greeno.
Cruising the streets in the Penny Hardaway shirt and the goggles.
And the sidecar with just
And
one
sidecar.
kid in it. I actually think you can get 2 kids in sidecars now. I think they do like double sidecar.
They're pretty
action.
small. Yeah, we'll squeeze them in.
Yeah, they're only
Put the
small
little-
kids. Yeah, fuck.
Put a little one in the foot area. He'll be all right.
He'll
Only
be
drive 5 minutes. It's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, this time I was like, look, I got to do the test driving last time.
Right.
This time I'll send the wife.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, you go fucking test drive the cars this time.
Oh, okay.
And you let me know which one you like. And then, because what we did, I drove them. Then she went and quickly test drove the one I liked. And she's like, yep, happy with it. We bought that one. So
Are
then
you
I'm like,
are you someone that gives the car a little boot when you're test driving it? Or
oh,
do
you have to, mate.
Yeah.
You got no choice.
Yeah, right.
You need to know what it can do. So you got to fucking...
Just give it a little boot. Yeah.
You got to, just find a little thing. Like I slowed down, give it a... We're all good. Just
Are
good
you
enough.
someone that gets offended if the car yard wants to go with you, wants to chaperone you on the test drive?
Doesn't
Because
bother
I
me.
am. No, it bothers me. I straight away
guys,
go, if you don't trust me, I don't fucking trust you. Here, take the keys. Don't want to fucking drive it now. Thanks, mate.
These guys down here do not give a fuck, man. They're the best. They come down because I just said I'll go do a test drive, and like an hour later, the wife pulls up in a new car. I'm like, what are you doing here?
Oh, okay.
She's like, dude just said make sure I'm back before 5. And I'm like, all right, sweet.
Nice. Go and do the shopping. Cool. Fuck.
It's good. Yeah, we'll do a lap. I will go move someone's house. This would be good.
Save on fuel. Fuck.
Exactly.
I just wanted to see what it was like on a highway run, mate. Fuck.
Yeah.
Take it easy.
So the original plan was like $5,000. I said, look, let's up it to like 15 and dip a bit more into the savings and emergency money, and we'll be all good. Okay. So the first car the wife brings home is $20,000. And I'm like, oh,
too much.
It's a bit more than I'd like to expend, but see how we go.
Oh, so she was test driving and bringing them home to you to inspect.
Yeah.
So you didn't even go on the day trip with her to go and look at all the cars in the car. Yeah, you're like, no, bring me the car and I will give you my approval.
I had no choice because we had sick kiddos, so I had to stay home with the kiddos. And then she was out, and that's what happened the fortnight before.
Just doing drive-bys. Okay.
Yeah. So we have a look. Yeah, make the kids jump in the back. Yeah, that looks sweet. Cool. Back out. Go get another car. So then she goes, brings a different car home. This one's $25,000. She's like, oh, I don't want this one specifically. They're getting a bit higher. And then she's like, this one's got a bit more zip though. Like, all right, so I take that for a quick fucking lap. And all right, sweet, not bad. So then we do a couple of these, and then I've like shortened the scope. And I'm like, fuck me. Like, we're gonna have to go a little bit over budget here because I kind of like both these cars. So come back, and then I was like, I'm going to narrow it down to these particular two. I'm going to test drive both. So test drove the more expensive one first. I'm like, this one's pretty good, not bad. Okay. And then the next one I drove was like, this is the one in my head. I was like, this is the kind of car I've wanted for ages.
Okay.
Maybe I fucking like, I don't.
What was it out of interest? What was this?
I was a little Suzuki Vitara.
Ah, so you're a fun top guy.
I love it. Yeah, man. It's
little four-wheel drive. So you want to go over sand dunes and shit, and you want to have the girls screaming and drinking Coca-Cola with a surfboard on the back. Greeno.
That's what we want.
Yeah,
I've wanted that car since I was a little kid. So I was like, fucking
best car for smoking bongs in whilst driving, I've been told, because it's all air rated, you see. So you can't really get caught doing it because there's no Dutch oven effect in a fun top, you're right. So
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That makes sense.
So I was like, all right, as long as this thing is not a pig, I think I'm fucking buying this car.
The Vitara.
So,
okay, this is
the
it.
Vitara. So
how long have they been around now? Because they're quite old, aren't they? So this must have
1995. They've been around since.
So what year model was this one that you were looking at?
This was like 2019.
2019. They're still making them in 2019, really?
They're making them in 2023, mate.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Do they look anything? Because I guess I've never seen one for 20 years, you know?
They're not the one you're thinking of. Like, sorry, the one you're thinking of is like the one
top.
I wanted when I was a kid.
The roll cage one, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. That's fucking the car's mad. Yeah. Love that car. But this one's kind of more of just like more of a family kind of sedan, but still fun.
Okay.
And so it's not a soft top or anything.
Funny,
like
your car that you want is a mid-90s to late 90s car. And it's also one that's very highly achievable if you really want it. Like, it's not like you having your dream car as a Lamborghini or, a Bugatti or anything like that. Yeah. And it's funny because I'm the same. So my dream car is like a 1995 WRX. Yeah. The rally ones that back in the day, those purple things. So one of those, that would be my dream car, I think. That's the one I've always wanted since I was a kid. So I think what we have to do, Greeno, is when we retire and we start the retirement business, Greeno, the business plan, we have to set ourselves a goal that in 5 years we will buy our childhood dream car. You will have the fun top. I will have the WRX. And we'll go on Macanats runs, Greeno.
100%. Because by then those cars will be like $2,000. It doesn't matter if they blow up. Yeah. It doesn't matter if they blow up in a year. They're just fucking there to say we owned it. Yeah, that's all that matters.
Oh, look, I hope that at that stage of life, I might have $5,000 to blow. And be like, okay. Yep. If I can get this, because by then it's going to be a fucking very old car. It'll be a 40-year-old vehicle at that point.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll cost a lot more than $5,000 to get one on the road by then, actually, when come to think of it. It might cost you $5,000 for the car, but then another 20 to get it going.
20 to get it roadworthy.
Yeah, exactly, by that time. So I guess we better save up.
Yeah. But so get in there, and I'm like, all right, cool. Test drove it. I was happy with it. And then the dudes, once again, they're trying to upsell me, right? So there was 2 versions of it. You got the original, and you got the turbo. And I'm like, they're like, oh,
Gotta get the turbo, mate. Fuck.
Yeah, and he's like, because the wife took both out for test drives, and they're like, how
was she smiling more when she came home with the turbo? Because I would.
She said, she's like, yeah, I did like the turbo. She's like, it was good. It had definitely had more pump. And I'm like, no, I understand. I said, but it's got 4 grand worth more pump, and it's also got an extra 30,000 K on it.
It's also an extra thing that breaks.
It can go wrong. Exactly.
Go wrong,
and it uses more fuel. I might have to fill up the tank, 5 times a year. That doesn't sound good to me.
Yep.
So in the end, I'm looking at the guys like, oh mate, the wife liked the turbo, and I'm like, I'm sure she did, mate, but it's not worth an extra 4 grand.
The only reason you'd need it on a car like that. So this is the Outlander we're talking about, is it? The turbo versus the non-turbo.
No, this is Vitara.
Vitara. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I reckon the only reason you'd need it on like a Vitara is if you plan on getting like big fucking wheels and doing like proper rock climbing 4-wheel drive shit, or you're planning on like towing a caravan or something. And then I can see, you're not lugging the engine around.
I'd be like, yeah, maybe it needs a bit more power and I'll spend a bit more on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, more Ks and more expensive. Nah, man, I'll give that a pass.
And if you have to do some high rev fucking 4-wheel driving somehow, somewhere,
exactly.
That makes sense too. Right. But any other situation, nobody needs a turbo ever for anything.
Completely
really
unnecessary.
Yeah.
So in the end, bought myself a little Vitara. So got kind of like sort of the dream car I wanted, but just a newer version of it. Now, with that being said, I've had the car a week and a half. I've only been able to drive it once.
Oh, really? Why?
Oh, the wife's had it. So because she's taking it to work, and then she went away last weekend, so she had away. So I'm like, 15 grand over budget. And
never see it.
Never see it. Nice, Gary. I was like, all right, cool. Got all that sorted. All very good. Yeah. At that point, I said to the wife, I'm like, no, now we're serious. We are like 30K into the emergency money.
Ooh.
We need to fucking like
trim it
now.
back.
Now we need to fucking buckle down. We cannot spend a cent the rest of the year.
It's about consolidation now, Greeno. You got to consolidate.
Now it's we're fine. Next day, dryer blows up. I shit you not.
After we have this big talk over dinner, it's very serious. Yeah.
Can't control it.
There you go.
Everything's blowing up at the same time. So in the space of like a month, I've had 2 cars and the dryer blow up.
Yeah. I know what you mean, because we're currently in the as you know, Greeno, we're in the midst of that. It's a very exciting thing that you do in life a couple of times, if you're doing life properly, I guess, or if you're doing it a certain way. That's the whole selling a house, buying a house situation, that whole changeover. Now, we've been in our current house nearly 20 years. Bought it when I was 22, I think, 23, pretty early on, pretty young in the piece. Got
in young.
Well, that was the options that we had, right? So we looked at it. So in say my group of friends, I'm the one with the least formal education out of everyone. I didn't even finish high school. Got out of there. Fuck off. See you later. So got a trade instead. So when you do that, if you're a young and listening to this is a tip for young players. Your advantage is you can be earning decent money earlier than people who are studying for years and years in, post high school education, right? So they're studying, they're paying
like myself,
money.
I didn't have a full-time job, and you're already buying a house.
That's right, and that's that. So but what the difference is, right? You'll earn money sooner, but the longer it goes, they'll make more and more and more, and they'll overtake you, and they'll end up making more at the end. But so your only advantage is to do something with that money when you're making it soon, early, and
in F1 terms, the undercut versus the overcut.
It was the undercut. That's right. Yeah. So that's really your only option when you're a low wage, high school dropout kind of thing, is just to buy in as early as possible. And I think we borrowed like 100% of the loan or something crazy back then. Maybe it wasn't 100. Maybe it was like 90, 95. I don't think they even let people do that anymore. I think it's like 80%.
It was, I think back in your day it was 10%
pretty loose.
Deposit you needed.
Yeah.
Now it's 20%.
Yeah.
And if you have anything under that, you got to pay for mortgage insurance, and the mortgage insurance is almost like paying the rest of the deposit anyway.
Yeah. So that was 17. So we were kids when we did that. And now we're selling and buying because we want to move down closer to Greeno, actually. We're moving down to his neck of the woods. So that's not the only reason, by the way. We just want to be near to Greeno. No, that's not the only reason. But that's, we're going down, we're heading down, we're moving in, lock, stock, and barrel. But see, when you're buying your first house, it's pretty cash and it's pretty easy because you've already got something cooking. When you buy the new house, you're renting somewhere or you're staying with an in-law and you're saving money, whatever it is. And then you go and buy the house, you move all your stuff in, it's happy days. When you do the next one, that's the difficult one because you actually have to sell and have a place to move into at the same time, Greeno.
Yeah.
So, it's like a 1 day hand over the keys. It's all got to be very strictly, kind of condensed and streamlined.
Yeah, there's balls in the air of juggling.
So many balls in the air, Greeno.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a lot of like kind of financial investigation that takes place now at this level. It's like, send us this document, send us that document. Can we take a look at this? Can we take a look at that? And it's so much that it leads you there. You'll be laying in bed at night going, oh, gee, I wish I hadn't have got that KFC burger last week.
Yeah.
$12 that came off the fucking off the statement there. $12. Are they going to think I'm spending too much on KFC? Is that too much? And of course, it's all good, and you just sign it off and go away. But
yeah, they don't give a fuck. They
really
hang,
don't care.
like, they just need to pretend like they're doing their due diligence.
Yeah, and they just whisk you on through.
Yeah,
and you're good to go.
You're like, hang on, you're like, you have an asset worth how much? Yeah, fucking, how much do you want? Better make him hand over a few sheets of paper though to make it look all legit. You're all good.
Yeah, totally. So I know how you feel with the finance stuff. It's not much fun. You are an accountant, though. You do it for a living, so you should probably be the least person to complain, I think. It's kind of what you're here for, isn't it?
Really?
Handle everyone's financial problems.
Not in any way, shape, or form, because once again, there's so many different types of accountant. I'm not the type of accountant that deals with that shit.
That's true, yeah.
I'm an investigative accountant.
Yeah. No, you're an ass kicker, actually. You're the one who's like, ruins people's chances of defrauding somebody, right? You're that guy.
No, I'm the opposite.
You let them defraud. Okay.
Yeah, no. I'm going, hey, I see how you fudge this. I'm going to reverse it for you so you can get more insurance.
Oh, really? Put them back on the gravy train. I love it.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, look,
get them back on the plantation, Greeno.
The simplest way to explain my job is like someone earns $1 million, right? But they don't want to pay tax on $1 million. So they do everything they possibly can to work the accounts to pay as little tax as possible. So it looks to the tax office, hey, man, I only earn $500,000. I only want to pay tax on the $500,000. And that's all fine. But what I'm trying to do is go, well, what did you actually earn compared to what you told the tax office you earned? Because that's realistically what your earnings are for the purposes of insurance.
Sure.
So I've got to go through all those accounts and go, yeah, well, that's bullshit and that's bullshit. And I'll take that out. We'll pull that back. Oh, that's fake. We'll move that. We'll move that over from here. Oh, you put that money over into that different entity. Oh, I pull that one back in and put all that together. It's like a little jigsaw puzzle, if you will.
Ah, okay.
So back to your original point. No, I don't give a fuck about how people's finances are. Just gotta work
nice, Gary.
As much money as you want. Just got to work out where it went. That's all.
Speaking of finances and emergency money, did you ever consider getting yourself a Cybertruck, Greeno? It's a good family car, I think.
I did my research on all the different kind of vehicles in advance. The Cybertruck was not on the short list.
Well, I think it should have been. Let's have a look at this little short video here, Greeno.
And do you want to share your screen for me, please?
Oh, my.
Yep. Am I not sharing my screen?
Not with me, you're not.
That's unfortunate. Let's go. We did have some late teething issues.
Some technical difficulties, which happens.
Yeah.
Which was disappointing because we both arrived on time. In fact, Damo actually arrived early.
I was early this time, yeah. Fucking smashed it out of the park. So this is the Cybertruck, Greeno.
Oh, my.
So if you're listening to the podcast, they're throwing bricks and bowling balls at it. Someone's hitting it with an axe. Trying to chisel through it. Hitting it with a saw, Greeno. Sledgehammer.
It's good.
Crowbar.
It's like a tank.
It is like a tank, isn't it? The chrome finish, I think the most offensive part of it for me is the whole chrome finish. I just don't know if I like that.
I don't like the shape. I don't like the chrome finish.
Yeah.
I don't like any of it, really.
Don't like any of it. I mean, it's pretty cool that it's basically
I like
indestructible,
I like the fact you can throw a bowling ball at it.
Yeah.
You know, the funny thing though is these things mechanically are so unreliable.
Is that right?
Break down more than any other vehicle.
Is that right?
So you can.
Where did you get that from? Where's that
I
stuff?
was reading about it yesterday when I was doing all my car research.
Okay.
And yeah, these things break down like a motherfucker. A lot of battery issues.
Well,
so
that's standard for electric vehicles, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this an electric vehicle? Is the Cybertruck an electric vehicle?
Yeah. It's Tesla, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can try and smash the fuck out of the side door as much as you want. And that's probably a good idea because when it breaks down in a shitty neighborhood,
Sell it for scrap.
at least it can't dent your car.
they can't rip the wheels off it. It's fucking bulletproof. You can park it. That's actually a great selling point. It means like, hey, look, you can say really racist things in this community and drive through and be completely untouched. You know, just cruise on through. You can park the car there overnight, you know, like Mad Max. This is a post-apocalyptic war zone kind of cruiser vehicle, Greeno, where you can park it in the middle of all the desert rats who are, you know, smoking a lot of crack and having sex with cacti out there and doing all sorts of weird and wonderful things in a Mad Max scenario. And you just cruise around in your Tesla. Of course, it's going to be difficult to charge the bastard. I think that's going to be the problem. When the world ends, you know, the electricity is the issue, I think you'll find. Maybe you could convert one into like a steam engine situation. That might work. You just directly plug your own asshole up to the engine, and then like a lot of hot air, warm, good feels, and a lot of atmospheric gases from all the vegan diets that you'll be having, Greeno, in the post-apocalyptic war zone will feed the engine directly. So, I mean, I guess that's an option. Of course, for the Tesla.
Here's a little update from Tesla. Tesla recalls Cybertrucks over wiper and trim issues in latest setback.
Oh, okay.
So it sounds like there's been multiple setbacks.
That's the latest one.
This is only 9 days ago.
Gee, if you're recalling a vehicle because there's something wrong with the windscreen wiper, that's a problem, isn't it? That seems like a big recall to do.
That seems like
windscreen wiper.
Hey man, the battery's completely fucked and it's blowing up and killing people. What should we do? Say it's a wiper issue. Get them to just recall it. Because there's no way you're recalling a $100,000 vehicle over the wipers.
Mate, there's no windscreen wipers under my hood where the battery is. What are you doing in there, mate? Oh, no, we're installing a wiper. Oh, okay. That's great stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't mind them. I wouldn't buy one, I don't think.
I don't think I'd drive one.
Here we go. The circular saw, Greeno. Now the government.
Well, that'll come in handy.
Now we're shooting it.
Well, that'll be handy in America, but
that guy's actually a really bad shot because he's only like 20 feet away, and he's I guess he's trying to shoot the X. But look at all the holes here.
Nowhere near. And once again, like, okay, sure, it didn't go through, but your car's pretty fucked up here.
Yeah,
like you'll be dents in it. You got bullet dents.
How much to replace this one panel on the Cybertruck do you reckon it would cost?
That's right. That one's already recalled, mate. Don't worry about it.
Because of the wipers, you see.
Problem with the wipers, probably.
Did someone try and shoot the wipers?
Yeah.
I noticed not one of these bullets is aimed at the window.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just the panel that's fucking all right. Everything else, proper fucked.
So there you go. You should have considered a Tesla.
Cybertruck. Think about it next time. Yeah. Can I give you another quick story time, Damon?
Please, yeah.
I like stories about pinatas.
So a couple of weeks ago was the wife's birthday. So I thought, look, we'll do a nice thing. I'll take the day off work. I'll take her out for lunch. We never really get a chance to do like date nights because, you know. It's
lovely, yeah.
The kids, mate. The kids, and we've got no babysitters. So it's like, oh, well, like I'll take a day off. We'll go have a nice lunch. Should be good. Now, for a long time, me and you have talked about food plenty on this show. And I've like jokingly said to my kids and my wife, I'm like, look, because when the kids waste my dinner night after night, and I don't like it. I'm like, this is fucking good food, man. What do you mean you don't like it? Like, I've taken out a little shit, you don't like it. It's delicious. You eat this shit every other time. Why don't you do? Get very frustrated. And I often go off on a rant talking about how lucky they have it. And I'm like, you are getting fucking restaurant quality food here.
It's
And
funny.
you
I
are
used to
complaining about
hear the whole. There are kids in Africa who would kill to have what you're
I don't give a fuck
pushing
about
back in the middle of the table right now. I used to
I
hear
don't give a
that.
fuck about the African kids. I'm insulted by the fact I'm putting quality food on the table and it's getting wasted.
Respect
This
your
is-
daddy's cooking skills, you ungrateful
This
little
is-
shit.
This is fucking restaurant quality food here, and you're like snubbing your nose at it. Fuck you. Like, who do you think you are?
Future food critic, I guess.
You 5-year-old. So I've been saying
Chicken
that
was
for
a little
while.
dry, and I felt like
Yeah.
the lemon flavors weren't really expressing themselves in a meaningful way throughout the salad. Yeah, fucking good kids.
So take the wife out for lunch, and have a look at the options. And they're like, oh look, here's what we do. Like our lunch special is this like 7-course thing. And I'm like, that's fucking right. Because there was a couple of things we wanted on the regular menu, but I'm like, this 7-course thing looks pretty fucking good. Like,
7
we're gonna get a fair
courses.
bit of food here. This is gonna be nice. We've never been here. We never get to go out to dinner, like lunches or dinners. Fuck it. At least this way we get to try 7 different things. It's gonna be amazing.
Is that not what they refer to as a French serving, Greeno? The 7 courses? Is that the French way of doing it?
It might be, but normally they're very small portions. These things, man, were fucking like hearty.
Yeah, right.
Hearty portions.
Okay.
To the point where I got to like the 5th course and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to fit the rest in. Like, I don't know how I'm going to eat the rest of this.
Okay.
It was solid.
There must be like 2 desserts, Greeno.
There was only one dessert. So it was like kind of 2 seafood entrees. And then it was 2 kind of like vegetarian / smaller kind of appetizers, if you will.
Primers. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like a bao bun. It was fucking really good. It was 2 different seafood little dishes. So it
Okay.
was like some squid and then like a little fish bao bun, which is delicious.
Okay.
And then you had your mains, which is like a pasta, and what was it? I forgot what the other thing was. And then you had a dessert.
Okay.
So you go entrees, kind of appetizers, mains, and then dessert. It was really, really good.
All right.
Now we got to the main bit, and the main was a pasta, a pappardelle, and a lamb ragu.
Sounds
And the
good.
dish comes out, and I look at it. I'm like, this looks fucking very familiar.
Uh,
And I'm like, I said to my wife, she's
These
like, are
fuckers
you
stealing my ideas.
she's like, I'm like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? And she's like, yeah, I think I am. I'm like, does this just look exactly like my dish? And she's like, it really does.
Where did you
And I'm
get
like-
yours from? Like, is it Jamie Oliver or something? Or like,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So we taste it, and I'm like, this tastes exactly like fucking my one.
these fuckers are stealing your dishes,
like-
Greeno.
like identical, to the point where I was like, I shit you not, every single bit of the flavor was the exact same. The texture, the cut of the pasta, the taste, like every little small element of the ragu.
I don't like it. It's
the-
too much of a coincidence. I think now would have been the time to line the family up against the wall and look them all in the eye and say, all right, which one of you
Okay, who gave
fuckers
recipe?
was leaking information
Who
to
gave-
this
yeah.
restaurant?
Who
Who's
gave-
doing it?
Who did it?
Yeah.
So it gave more credence though. And I made the wife try it several times. I'm like, now try it again. Like, it's not in my head, is it? She's like, no, it literally tastes the exact same as your fucking meal. So that night came home, the kids, like fucking once again, snubbed their nose at the food I tried to serve them.
Yes.
I'm like,
Rubbed
you
it in
little
their
fuckers.
little faces.
And I'm like, we went to a restaurant today. And they served the dish. It was the exact same as my fucking meal. And this is like a 5-star restaurant. You will eat what I serve you, motherfuckers.
Oh, ungrateful little shits. There you go. What
It
you,
was a nice little thing though to go, hey man, I actually cooked a restaurant quality dish because it literally was identical.
what you should have done though, Greeno, is serve them this dish. Like you shouldn't have said anything. You should come home, serve them this dish, and then they'll go, I don't like it, and then go, okay. And then the next night say, look, I tell you what, why don't we go out for dinner tonight? I would fuck with their heads. Why don't we go out for dinner tonight? So, let's go out. Yeah, sounds good. Very exciting. Okay, sweet. We're going out for dinner. We're going to this restaurant. We're going to have the lamb ragu. Okay, and just see what the reaction is. Now, if they eat the food at the restaurant that is it's exactly the same, right? And they pushed it back at home. I think what you need to do is bring in some candles, some new drapes, jazz up, maybe have some light jazz playing, Greeno.
Yeah, that's the
dinner
problem.
time. Yeah, I think you want the restaurant ambiance.
If you get the ambiance,
Yeah,
that's the
because
issue.
at the moment it might be restaurant quality food, but if it's in the kitchen,
Not
and the
restaurant quality
in the
service.
dining room, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You may want to put on a tuxedo, Greeno. Maybe
think it's the
that's
fact-
the missing link.
Think it's the fact the waiter's not telling them fucking eat it.
It could be, yeah.
Nah.
You want to
fair
come
call.
over with a menu and there's just one thing on it. Okay. Dinner. That's what we're having tonight.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like a wet towel, all that kind of good stuff? Would you like a drink?
Here's a baby wipe. Yep.
Yep. Put up some new drapes and away you go. There you go. I know nothing about families. You know nothing about food, Greeno. We fixed it.
Nice,
We fixed it.
Gary!
Very good. We don't have much else left. We've got the election demo. Quickly, before we get to that, well, it's still kind of election-based question. Have we got an Australian election coming up soon?
I hope not.
Did we just have one of these fucking
vote.
things?
I don't want to have to tell them I'm sick again to vote.
Yeah.
I'm sick to vote.
I saw someone talking about how the current whoever's in charge now is going to lose the unlosable, and I'm like, hey, we got another one coming up. What happened there?
Oh, maybe. Oh, God.
It seems like it was just yesterday we did this fucking thing, didn't we?
Yeah, the older I get, the more I just detest the whole. If you don't vote, we'll fine you, and then they talk about it's fun to. You need to participate in democracy. It's like fuck off. Real democracy would mean having the choice not to vote for any of you fuckers. Not one single one of you. Do I want to vote for?
Here we go. We're inside an election year. It's
really?
expected by May 2025.
Whoop-de fucking do.
I got to do the next election. That's going to be a bit painful.
Well,
might get some comedy out of it.
If it's May 2025, then it's going to be. They'll either do it like in say September this year, or like March, April next year. I think that's probably where they'll chuck it on. It's because you can't do it too close to Christmas, and people are trying to spend money on Christmas presents, and the other people are going, people have got no money for Christmas presents. You're going to vote for us instead. You want to avoid all that kind of garbage. You don't want to do it in the middle of summer in January or February because people are pissed off because they're outside in the heat. So it can only be, they have done it in September before, and people got pissed off because it was too close to the footy grand finals, Greeno. Do you remember that? I
remember that. It was during finals, and it's like, hey, man, this is bullshit. What are you doing? We've got to watch footy.
Yeah, and I don't think it served them well calling it then. And so it's either going to be one or the other. But it's really disgusting. I just wanted to point this out because I have made mention of this before in the past, and I don't think people like in Australia and the United States who aren't politically nerdy enough to watch elections in other countries like I am.
You love it though.
I do.
This is your
really
year.
do. Yeah.
Nah.
And I've been talking about this for years. This is one of the great things about the UK system, and I don't think people really believe it, but someone has, gone to the trouble, thank you very much, this person on Twitter, to take a little quick still shot here. There is someone dressed up in an Elmo costume. Now, the reason that there's someone... Now, that's the newly elected UK Prime Minister in the middle there, a guy named Keir Starmer, Greeno, who I could never vote for a guy named Keir Starmer because it just sounds like a guy who was raised in a country club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's such a country club name, Keir Starmer. He's now the PM, and I'm here for the working class individuals. Like the stable hands and the greenkeepers who tend to the golf course. I'm here for those gentlemen. So that's the new Prime Minister. But this is Elmo standing off here to the side. And the reason that Elmo's here is everyone who registers for the particular race in the particular electorate for the particular seat, when they announce the results, they all have the right to stand up there on stage while the results are read, and the winner does a little speech. And so you can register for any party you want.
This is like a contestant.
He's in the election. You could have voted for Elmo, Green.
I could have. How the fuck? Which one was Elmo's numbers? Now I'm intrigued by Elmo's numbers. Okay. Is this why there's a bunch of weird fuckers in the hats and shit as well?
Yes, that's exactly why there's some weird fuckers in the hats. So here you go. Here's a little example, Greener.
Jason Chinnery, the official monster.
Yeah, old mate over here.
Yeah.
Jason.
Have a listen to the...
Jason Chinnery, the official monster raving loony party.
Yes. Now this is the kind of election I can get on board with this. This would get me interested in Australian politics. If you made everyone stand up, you could have the Huck Tour girl up there.
Yeah.
You could have
whoever you want. Doesn't matter.
It'd
So
be good.
he's from the official raving loony. What was it? The raving loony monster party. I think he was
Monster
from.
Party.
And actually, Greeno, I think you'll be pleased to note in this very short clip that they actually got like 200 and something votes. Greeno, have a look.
Jason Chinnery, the official Monster Raving Loony Party,
Yeah,
230.
230 votes.
He got 230 votes, Greeno.
Fucking oath.
Official Monster
I'm a
Raving
fan.
Loony Party, 230.
Thank you.
Nice, Gary!
230 votes, Greeno.
230 votes.
Yep.
He's had a good day.
I love it.
Very good. There was a dude who was wearing like this weird. He kind of looked like the Orange Rock superhero. I forget. I don't know.
Oh,
What
he's the one who went up against Jacob Rees-Mogg.
is that it? Is it?
Let me find it for you.
It made no sense to me. Like, why is there a dude wearing a full like face mask thing happening? I don't understand.
Yeah. No, he was one of the guys in Jacob Rees-Mogg's. Here he is.
That guy. Yeah, that's the one. That you've just explained why I'm like, what is going on here? Why is there someone wearing that behind him?
He's wearing a baked bean balaclava, Greeno.
A baked bean balaclava.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes. And yeah, he went up against Jacob Rees-Mogg, who incidentally lost his seat, which is a great. I think it's a terrible shame whether you're you like the Tories or not. Should be indifferent because Jacob Rees-Mogg is one of the most entertaining politicians on planet Earth. I find so.
In what way?
He's very, very humorous and very, very dry British humor, and he's quite something. He's a bit of a wordsmith as well. You know, I like the wordsmiths.
Yeah.
I'll just see if I can find a very short, quick clip for you, just to.
I need to look up where I can buy a baked bean balaclava because I don't think that's got to be like a specialized store, doesn't it?
Yeah, perhaps. Jacob Rees-Mogg. Okay.
That should have been the name of this show, this episode. Baked bean balaclava.
Okay.
So it seems like whatever the red team was won by a lot.
Yeah, Labour.
Over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, though, that it's just the way their system works over there. They got like 9 million votes, and they got less votes in this election when they lost in a landslide like 1 or 2 elections ago themselves, or maybe a bit longer. They got less votes and won in a landslide this time than they did last time losing by a landslide.
Okay.
So they got more votes when they lost and less votes when they won. Nigel Farage's party, the Reform Party, they got 4 million votes and they got 4 seats. And the Lib Dems, the Liberal Democrats, I think got like 3.6 million votes and they got 71 seats or something like that. So it's a first past the post system over there.
Yep.
They don't have preferences. And look, we have preferences and we fucking hate it. So it doesn't matter what system you have. It usually.
I still
ends up
understand
being
the whole
awful.
preference thing anyway. That's
Yeah.
that's because I haven't bothered to actually, bother.
Okay, here's a little bit of Jacob Rees.
And this amendment says what we Eurosceptics have been saying all along, that the European Union produces its laws in a form of gobbledygook, of stentorian, sesquipedalian sentences that nobody can ever understand, and therefore when it's brought into British law, it should be brought into British law in a form that requires a plain English translation. But this session has hardly begun. It is in its infancy. It is like Sixtus, my newborn son. It is still in the mewling and puking stage. It has not reached the stage of toddling and walking and taking bold steps. And I'm afraid to say that this... Of course I give way to the Honourable Gentleman.
Does he not agree when you raise a child, one must try and instruct that child on good behaviour from the very beginning and not let it misbehave early on? And so
I feel like this
therefore
dude should be
our
wearing a
role
baked
is
bean balaclava.
surely to
Yes.
Make sure the government does not misbehave early on.
Honourable Gentleman is a harsher authoritarian than I am. I think the strict discipline of a child yet a fortnight old would be unreasonable by any standards, and I hope... Well, I'm just glad I'm not an infant in his household. That's all I can say, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so there you go. He's all right. He's okay.
No,
And he got dusted.
Yeah, he lost. Yeah.
He's funny. People didn't want to vote for him though.
Well, he was in there for quite some time, but it was one of the they lost a lot of seats because they got landslided against.
Yeah.
So, the other team won a lot of seats, and look, they'll be in power for a couple of elections, and then the next team will win again. So, and on we go.
Circle.
Yeah,
and it'll all be the exact same, no matter who's there.
More or less. But yeah, it's a shame to lose Jacob Rees-Mogg. Although it does free him up, though, I suspect, now to do media full time, which might end up being better because he is a very.
You reckon he'll kind of just get on the?
Please.
He'll be like the Richo of the Channel 9 coverage.
Please, they'd be mad if they weren't lining up to sign him up for some kind of radio show or something. Please, so I would anyway. It doesn't even matter who he used to fight for. Once they're out of politics, they're mates with everyone again anyway. So, send him in. It'll be great.
Well, they're mates in any event. So just before we go, some big news with the Nathan's hot dog eating contest.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Real
news, ladies and gentlemen.
On today. The drama surrounding Joey Chestnut.
Joey Chestnut drama. Good.
Not allowed to compete.
Really?
So we finally have a new champion.
Why isn't he not allowed?
I think he signed on to a rival hot dog brand for a sponsorship.
He's not an Oscar Mayer winner.
So he's now no longer allowed to represent in the Nathan's hot dog eating competition.
How could he?
He's a traitor. He's a fucking traitor. And the Judas that he is. So we've got a new champion. We've got Patrick Bertoletti.
Yeah, but by default only, though.
Yeah,
Joey
it's
Chestnut
going to be
wins
tainted
every time, doesn't he?
It is going to be tainted without Chestnut in there. But no, Chestnut knows what he did. He's
like winning a grand final in the COVID era, Greeno, doesn't really count.
Doesn't count.
No.
Don't even remember who won. Who won the grand final? Who won the AFL grand final in 2020?
Melbourne, 2021.
Doesn't count. Doesn't matter. It's been 94 years since they won. Doesn't count.
Yeah, and it was Liverpool that won the Premier League in that COVID year when there was no crowds and shit.
Yeah, Panthers won.
I don't think that counts, and that's gonna be harsh news for a mate of ours who's a big Liverpool fan from the UK. But I'm afraid can't accept that one. That's the only one they won, by the way, with Jurgen Klopp. That one in the COVID era, so I don't think that counts, unfortunately.
Maybe it doesn't count.
Man City won literally every other one around it. you know, like 3 or 4 deep. So just the COVID one sticks out. So I think that's an anomaly.
Quick one before we go as well. Last night, flicked on TV, said, I wonder what's on KO. See if there's any kind of live sport and I can watch as I'm going to bed. Yeah. And there was like Champions Legends Cricket.
Oh, I saw that. I saw Kevin Peterson out there, Greeno.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this? I flicked it on. I'm like, hang on. So it's like all like old former legends.
It was England versus South Africa. I saw
That's the one. Yeah. That's what I was watching. And I thought this is going to be fucking great. Yeah. And it was kind of like, it lasted about 3 minutes.
Yeah, me too.
Because when you see like Herschel Gibbs, who used to be one of the most fluently beautiful batsmen, and he's like,
oh, my back.
He's got his little fucking beer belly and he's barely able to like get the bat out where he needs to. I'm like, well, this is just kind of embarrassing. Yeah. I can't believe this is a thing.
Never meet your heroes, Greeno.
It's fine. Just don't fucking rehash your heroes out on a real game of cricket. Like, remember when back in like mid-teens, they did like former legends beach cricket?
We had like that's right. AB.
Merv Hughes, AB would be out there.
That's right. They did
fun.
Too.
Dean Jones taking diving catches in the sand.
They rolled a mat out on the beach so the ball would bounce. Right. Yeah.
100%. That was a bit of fun. That I can handle. Seeing real cricketers, like former cricketers from like 10, 15 years ago, playing way seriously. Outside their prime, playing seriously, was a little bit embarrassing.
It's funny though, because the Masters golf is a thing and they get away with it. Why is that? Is golf just a more acceptable old guy sport?
Well, because I think you can send some of those Masters guys out in a real tournament.
They'd still do well.
Top 10. Yeah. Like golf's one of those sports where
longevity.
They can still hit and they can still putt. Like it doesn't involve.
I think Bernard Langer is still fucking playing. He's like 70 years old, I think. If I'm not mistaken.
How often do you see just randomly, like, you know, there's like always like one major a year where like an old veteran who just like has just got an exemption because they won it 15 years ago.
Yeah. There was one that nearly won. Was it the Masters? Maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was like
fucking nowhere.
It was like Nick Faldo or something.
Yeah, someone like that. Someone of that era, anyway. And I was like, holy fuck! And he nearly did it too, but I think he crashed on moving day. I think, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah. So anyway, there you go. That's a wrap, I reckon.
That's a good show.
That was a good show. We've
I'm
got
going to
our
get myself a
plugs.
baked bean balaclava.
Fantastic. And run for office.
That's it. I'll see you guys in a fortnight.
Bye-bye.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you.
If I say that your tongue is vicious,
if I call you uncouth,
it's simply that.
Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you the truth?